Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we will be using the tricks that we learned yesterday about how to do multiplication to do the multiplications shown on screen. If you remember the tricks that we showed yesterday, you can pause the video and try to solve these on your own. If, however, you do not remember exactly what we showed yesterday, you can just keep watching. So if you want to try and solve them on your own and then come back to check if you did them correctly, you can pause the video now. Okay, so let's do these multiplications. You can see here that they're grouped together. So in this group we have multiplications that all have 0 in them. These all have 1 in them. These all have 2. These all have 5. And these all have 10. So we're going to solve these by using the tricks that we showed yesterday. The first ones, you can remember that we said that any multiplication that has 0 in it makes 0. So this is going to be 0, and the same goes for this, and this, and this, because they all have 0 in them. Next up, we have the multiplications with 1. And for the multiplications with 1, we said that whatever number I am multiplying 1 with, that's the result of the multiplication. So what number am I multiplying 1 with here? I'm multiplying it with 6. So the result is going to be 6. What number am I multiplying 1 with here? That would be 7. So my result is going to be 7. What number am I multiplying 1 with here? That would be 9. So my result is 9. What number am I multiplying 1 with here? 8. So my result is going to be 8. Next up, we have the multiplications that have 2 in them. We said that when we have a multiplication with 2, we ask, what's the number I'm multiplying with 2? And my result is the double of that number. So for 2, you need to remember your doubles. So what number am I, here we have 2 times 3. What number am I multiplying 2 with? That would be 3. So my result is the double of 3, which is 6. What number am I multiplying 2 with here? 8. So my result is the double of 8, so 16. What number am I multiplying 2 with here? That would be 7. So my result is the double of 7, so 7 plus 7, 14. What number am I multiplying 2 with here? 6. So my result is the double of 6, so 12, because 6 plus 6 makes 12. Next up, we have the multiplications with 5. So for these multiplications, you're going to need the little song that we sing for 5. So that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. And if you don't remember it exactly, you can just write it down somewhere on a piece of paper and have it next to you somewhere so that you can see it. Now I'm just going to leave it here so that we can see it whenever we need to. All right, so here we have 4 times 5. So what I'm going to do is count by 5, putting one finger up for each number I say. So even though you can't see me, when I say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, for each number that I'm saying, I'm putting one finger up, right? So we want 4 times 5. So I need to stop when I get to 4 fingers and remember what number I just said at the 4th finger. So let's get started. 5, 10, 15, 20. Stop. That's the 4th finger. And I said 20. So my result here is going to be 20. In the next one, we have 3 times 5. So we're multiplying 5 by 3. We need to count to the third number. So 5, 10, 15. Stop. That's the third number. So 15. Here we have 5 times 7, which means I need to count to the 7th number. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Stop. That is the 7th number. So 35 is my result. Here we have 5 times 8. I am multiplying 5 with 8. So I need to count to the 8th number. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Stop. That's the 8th number. Next up, we have the multiplications with 10. If you remember, the rule for 10 is that we need to find what number we're multiplying with 10, rewrite it, and then put a 0 after it. So here, we are going to ask ourselves, what number are we multiplying with 10? And the answer is 7. So my answer is going to be 7 and then a 0 afterwards. So 70. Next up, what number am I multiplying 10 with here? That would be 6. So my answer is going to be 6 with a 0 at the end. 60. Next, what number am I multiplying 4 with here? 10 with here? I'm multiplying it with 4. So my answer is going to be 4 with a 0 after it. So 40. Here, what number am I multiplying 10 with? That would be 8. So my answer is going to be 8 with a 0 after it. So 80. Next up, these multiplications have some things that are different about them. First of all, here, you can see that they're all mixed up. There isn't one specific number that is in all of them. So we can't really use one trick to solve all of these. What we need to do is look at each individual multiplication separately and think, okay, which of these tricks that I know can I use to solve them? So here, for example, we have 8 times 2. Well, I don't have a trick for 8, but we do have a trick for 2. We said that for 2, the result of the multiplication is double of the number I'm multiplying 2 with. So in this case, the double of 8, which is 16. Next up, we have 6 times 5. I don't have a trick for 6, but I do have a trick for 5. We said that we need to count to the 6th number because I'm multiplying 5 with 6. So the 6th number out of these. So let's do that together. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So 30 is my result. Here, 7 times 0. So you might remember the trick from 0. We said that any multiplication with 0 in it is immediately 0. Next up, we have 10 times 9. And the trick for for 10 is that we just write whatever number we're multiplying with 10. So in this case, 9. We just rewrite it and put a 0 after it. So 90. Here we have 1 times 7. I'm going to use the trick for 1 because I don't have a trick for 7. The trick for 1 is whatever I am multiplying 1 with, that's the result. So in this case, 7. All right, next up, I see a lot of students get confused by this. So when I'm multiplying one of these numbers that I have a trick for with itself, right? So here, 0 times 0, for example, 1 times 1, 2 times 2. And you get a little confused sometimes. Well, you just think, what am I multiplying? Here we have a multiplication with 0. And the fact that it has 2 zeros doesn't change that any multiplication with a 0 in it makes 0, always. Here, let's just ask, what number am I multiplying this 1 with? Well, 1. So that's the result, 1. Here, what number am I multiplying this 2 with? I am multiplying it with another 2. So the result is the double of that, 4. Next up, here I'm multiplying this 5 with another 5. So I need to count to the 5th number out of these. So let's do that together. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So my result is 25. Next up, what number am I multiplying 10 with here? That would be 10. So I'm going to write 10 and then put another 0 after it, so 100. Next up, we have 0. Here we have some multiplications between these numbers. So this is something you also sometimes get confused with, because you see these two numbers and you think, okay, which of the two tricks should I use? So here, for example, should I use the trick for 0 or the trick for 2? It doesn't matter. Whichever you choose, you're going to get the same result. So here, just try and choose whichever one is easier for you. Okay. So here, I think the easier trick is zeros, where we just say any multiplication with a 0 in it makes 0. Next up, we have 5 times 10. So I'm going to use the trick for 10 and just rewrite 5 and put a 0 after it, so 50. But even if you counted to the 10th number in this in the song of 5, you'd get 50. So that's the same result. Here we have 1 times 2, and I'm going to use the trick of 1 because that's the easier one. And I'm going to say that I'm multiplying it with 2. So my result is 2. Here I'm going to use the trick of 1 again and say that the result, since I'm multiplying 1 with 5, is going to be 5. And next up we have, it's basically the same as this multiplication, just in reverse. So just to show you that we still get the same result, I'm instead this time going to use the trick of 5. So we're going to count, since we're multiplying 5 with 10, I'm going to count to 10th number. So count with me. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. That's the 10th number. So 50 is my result. All right, so that's everything for today. Do your worksheets from tomorrow and Thursday, and I will see you again on Friday. Have a good day. Bye.